surface, not a big deal. Marvin Bagley went on social media and he changed Sacramento to Phoenix, where he lives, and took all mentions of Sacramento Kings off his social media. He stopped following them on social media, and he liked a tweet saying, we need to get Marvin Bagley out of Sacramento. Now, it's always been, like I said, his dad said something, that's parents. Mm-hmm. This is really, and this isn't Marvin officially asking for a trade, though I wish it was. This is almost worse. It's like you're just doing these little things. You know people are going to talk.
The passive aggressive.
Right. It's just so passive aggressive. Like, just be a man and ask for a trade.
Yeah.
Be an adult.
Dwayne Dedman did it five games into his Kings career. Follow the lead, dude.
Let me get all the disclaimers out of the way. It's not Marvin's fault that he was picked number 2. Mm-hmm. It's not Marvin's fault he was signed to the contract he was signed. I'd sign it too. It's not his fault. Kings fans go after him for not being as good or being injured too much. He wants to be good. He doesn't want to be injured. Trust me. That's not the issue. But I don't take this personal. Like, come on, this is basketball. But as a Kings fan, I take this personally as a Kings fan. I take it very, very personally. And I've really wanted things to work out with Marvin. He does have legit NBA talent.
Sure. No one's denying that.
Dripping with talent.
No one's denying that. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some, but
Marvin Bagley and anyone associated with Marvin Bagley, whether it's an agent, whether it's a cousin, a dad, a family member, his dog, should be kissing the ground in front of Golden One Center. And let me explain why. Forget that you have one of the hungriest fan bases, if not the hungriest fan base in the NBA, that deserves to do well. Forget that there's an innate sense of pressure and responsibility that comes with being that pick. You can't help that you're injured. You can't help that you grew up in an AAU-style program that taught nothing about defense, or you just didn't have time for it. I don't have a problem with him dropping rap singles and doing positive things that further benefit him as an artist. I didn't care if Willie Cauley-Stein painted. Just show up and play. But since Marvin Bagley has come in the league, here's reasons why he's missed games. Some one, some multiples. Back spasms, knee, rest, knee, illness, thumb, foot. These are separate, by the way. Foot, wrist, calf, hand, groin. That's 3 seasons. Actually, really less than 3 because of COVID.
And it's like you almost went over the entire anatomy of the body.
Okay, so you got picked number 2, and you have been paid every single dollar you were promised. By the way, more than Luka Doncic. Okay?
More than Trae Young.
You have not. Marvin Bagley, whether it's his fault or not, I don't care, has not lived up to his contract. In the meantime, Vlade Divac lost his job, and deservedly so, because of Marvin Bagley, in large part. Luke Walton, Dave Yeager, teammates have all had to deal with this and have all, to a person, stood up for Marvin Bagley. Sam Bowie is widely considered the worst draft bust in history, but part of that is because he was sandwiched between Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, if you actually look at his career, he wasn't a horrible basketball player.
Well, let's do that. Because Sam Bowie ended up having a 10-year career in the NBA, of which he played 62% of his games. Marvin Bagley has a 3-year career in the NBA so far. He's played exactly half. That's less than Sam Bowie. Whereas Marvin has averaged about 3.5 points more per game than Sam, 10.9 to 14.5. They both rebound exactly at 7.5. Bowie has 2.1 assists, Marvin 1. Numbers aren't that far off, in other words. So take away the Jordan and take away the Olajuwon. Now it's Ayton, Doncic, and Trae Young amongst others.
Well, you mentioned the sandwich between Jordan and Olajuwon. He's sandwiched right now between Ayton and Doncic.
That's exactly right. So when you talk about Sam Bowie being the worst draft pick in history, and then you look at everything, and by the way, Marvin still has plenty of career left. Who knows? It's not closed yet.
Right, but I get the Sam Bowie thing, but can we go a little bit?
Sure.
Who's to say he's not going to be, and I don't mean because of a talent standpoint, Darko Milicic?
That's exactly right. That's the path that it's on right now. Now, I think Marvin's shown more on the floor than Darko did.
100%.
But the cold, hard numbers are this. Marvin, all the Marvins, Marvin Dadley, Marvin Bagley, every Marvin, every Bagley. Guys, Marvin Bagley has, I'm not going to say stolen money from the Kings. He did nothing illegal. But Marvin Bagley has been paid every dollar of his contract, and the franchise has stood in front of him at every single path. Marvin Bagley has not fulfilled his contract because of things out of his control. And now you have the audacity. It's one thing if your dad's popping off. You have the audacity to basically not even as an adult come out and say it. And by the way, I've asked Marvin Dadley, I've asked the franchise, and this is in no way the Kings' fault. I've repeatedly asked to get these guys on the show.
Dude, I just peel back the curtain. We asked for Marvin last week.
I won't say I'd love it. It would be a crap interview, but dude, I will give you the forum. Just ask for a trade. Just come out and ask for a trade. But here's the problem there. In the NBA, you have things called agents and front office, GMs and teams. If you want to trade, you ask for it behind the scenes. Why do you do it behind the scenes? Because now, Marvin, every other team knows you want out, which they probably already knew, but now they know it's even more toxic. Guess what just happened to your trade value? In addition to your trade value cratering because of your play, your lack of play, more importantly, your injuries, the fact that you're brittle as hell, that's already cratered your value. Now you're cratering it more. So the very thing you want to get out of Sacramento, fine. Get out of Sacramento. I get it. New start, fresh start, whatever. This is a franchise that has not been very successful. I'm a big boy. I can handle that. But you're doing the exact opposite thing. And you're probably pushing it to a point where Monty's going to have to trade Marvin Bagley for a foot-long Subway sandwich in order to just be rid of the problem. But it would have already probably happened had you just shut up.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you've already asked for a trade privately, if you're listening to this, and I know they'll listen to it, if you're listening to this right now and you've already done this, then say so. Then say so. I'll retract. But the thing that really, 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 really pisses me off, say what you want about the franchise, plenty of issues with the Kings. It's not their fault that you can't play defense. It's not their fault that you're a complete sieve on the floor. It's not their fault that you can't stay on the floor. And if you want to go after the training staff again, say it publicly. Give us examples. Let us know why the training staff has failed you. Because short of that, you have been injured. You've still been getting paid to be injured. And now you have the audacity to say, I want to trade. Marvin, I have news for you. Right now, on June 24th, 2021, you are Sam Bowie. That's who you are. The only thing saving you from not being called the biggest bust in NBA history is Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan. And Luka Doncic and Trae Young and DeAndre Ayton are coming for you. What you should be doing is any chance you have, you should be saying, this team showed faith in me by taking me when everyone else said I shouldn't be taken at number 2. They have paid me. They have worked with me.
They believed in me.
They believed in me, and they have stood up, and they have dealt with the questions in the locker room about me, about my dad, about all this stuff. They have stood up time and time again. They have had my back. And me, as a grown man in the National Basketball Association, I'm going to have their back. Limited but not including. I'm going to bust my ass and get back on the floor next year. And you know what? When my extension comes up, they're getting a hometown discount right now. Short term, I'm going to get paid, but I'm going to show faith in them because they've shown faith in me. That's the right way to go. Instead, you're playing hopscotch on social media with this high school garbage that we're talking about. And I got some Kings fans out there saying, yeah, hey, listen, everybody's been saying he needs to be traded already, so what's the big deal? The big deal is that's fans. He's a player. You're doing it wrong logically. And by the way, you should be getting a Kings logo tattooed on your arm. On your arm. Thankful, appreciative. Instead, we're going to have to cut bait on this total failure.
Isn't that what it really comes down to? Now that we've got all that out there, you have to do it, right? At this point, it's just...
You have to.
There's been too much put out into the into the abyss, actually. That's what we should call it.
It stings enough that you got to watch DeAndre Ayton and Trae Young and Luka Doncic and God knows who else. And conversation. In fact, by the way, the tweet that he liked, Marvin liked, where the guy quote tweeted another tweet saying, get Marvin out of Sacramento. We got to get Marvin out of Sacramento. The tweet he liked was a tweet saying the 2018 draft class might be the best ever, except for one guy.